Masego, you have been reporting this story since very early this morning. You are still on the ground. Talk to me about what you're seeing this evening. Is there a sense that Alex is going to be safe tonight?
Sally, there is definitely that sense to me, but the problem with Alexandra, Sally, is that it's a very small area with a lot of people living in the area, so it's quite easy for crime to creep in, even with the soldiers out. And I mean, you can see Teddy had to use a big light, so that you are able to see me. It's quite dark here, so that you are able to see me and even the soldiers themselves. So as you can see, they're getting into the bus. I kept hearing them say safety first. So if the soldiers say safety first, then I think you might have a clear picture of what I mean. So they are still here at the moment, but I think they are planning to probably not stay here in particular for too long. And as you can see, because of the damage that was caused by the looters, I think that's what caused it to be even more darker, because there were some other things that would actually have light. For instance, your mall and some of the lighting from the shopping complex on the other side would give you more light, but that is gone after the looting and the burning and the destruction that was caused by community members here. So it was quite a day full of drama really here in Alex. When we first arrived, Sally, Teddy and I, we found people looting uninterrupted here at this corner shop here where you see the soldiers standing now. They were looting, they were taking groceries. You saw people getting out of there with your 2 kg powder soap, 12 of them for each person really. At some point, some of them had like boxes that you could see were in storage of your butter or anything that you would find in basically in a large number in a box. They were taking those and running off with them. At some point I asked the guy, what are you going to do with so many 2 kgs of powder soap? He said, I'll give to my family members, my friends, and some of it I'll probably end up selling. We moved from there, of course. That was 7 o'clock. There were no police officers here, Sally, when we first started in the morning. At 8 o'clock, once again, there were no police officers. So eventually I called the police to say, where are you? Because there's still some looting here at Pan African, and the mall is even in more danger, and it was already looted anyway. And all the workers who are supposed to come to work today obviously couldn't. And so eventually I think police arrived, Sally, at around 9 o'clock. We were able to give visuals of police firing rubber bullets, tear gas and stun grenades at the crowd. At some point, Sally, the police actually told us themselves that they've run out of rounds in terms of rubber bullets and stun grenades and even tear gas. And they said they've run out and they're going to have to retaliate because they've been waiting for the soldiers. They heard from the president last night that the soldiers would be here to reinforce, and they were just not seeing any of that happening. So eventually they retreated. I think at around 12 o'clock they retreated. At 3 o'clock, Sally, and I think that's the crossing that most people might remember, that's when we saw looting happening. That looting started happening when police retreated at around 12, 12-ish past 12 to 1. And therefore they started stealing again for about 2 hours uninterrupted until the soldiers arrived at around 10 past 3 or so. And the soldiers didn't even have to fire shots. You just saw the crowd disperse.
And I mean, you were just saying that it looks like the soldiers are going to leave, and you were bringing us that live crossing with the police minister, where he was basically telling everyone, look, curfew's at 9, but 6 o'clock, I want you home. It does seem they've listened for now, but of course the question is, as soon as the army leaves, which it looks like they're getting ready to do, as you explained, is there going to be more room for looting, if of course there's anything left?
Well, Sally, from my understanding, with the explanation that I got from the soldiers who explained to me, they're not really going to leave. They're still going to be here, but not on the street like you see them now. So they'll probably be driving around with those vehicles that they used. But, you know, it's like a nyala. I just don't know what they call it in terms of the SANDF term, but the one where they are able to actually get out from the top of the roof. They're going to be using those to be able to make sure that people are staying inside their homes, not only for curfew at 9 o'clock, but to make sure that no more destruction takes place here in Alexandra. I mean, you can imagine a lot of people in Alexandra, Sally, are unemployed. So a lot of them would start businesses such as small plaza shops, etc. And they too are very afraid that after the malls and after these bigger stores, will they be next? And I think that's the issue that we're seeing here in Alexandra. But definitely not that the soldiers are completely leaving. They'll still be around. That's my understanding, but they'll be doing more driving around. I don't know if Teddy will be able to show you, Sally, if you could just give me a few seconds. Over there, you can see that the soldiers are actually around a fire. Because it's quite cold today. We know that the cold front arrived here in Johannesburg, or rather in Gauteng this morning. So they're around there, they're briefing each other. So it's not all of them that will leave. It'll be most of them, but definitely not all of them. And there'll be the driving around of those trucks, like I was telling you earlier, especially in an area like Alexandra.
You know, Masego, that huddled group of men around a fire just re-emphasizes for me that doesn't matter what uniform you're wearing, but if there's a massive crowd of people and you don't have enough to defend yourself and to stop that group doing from what they want to, you are just another human being. And one hopes that some calm will remain in Alex this evening.